Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Color X Smiles Unlimited. And we're still in Sasazuka's route. We're probably close to the end of Chapter 3. I'm not 100% sure, but we probably will not get an ending in this part because the ending is after Chapter 4, but I don't know if it's Chapter 4 and then the ending, or, you know, that counts as the... I don't know how it's going to do, but at any rate, we'll probably get somewhere into Chapter 4, so... One more part after this, I'm guessing? Anyway. Time passed. After playing with us, the puppy grew sleepy and curled up into a ball. Sasazuka petted the dog contentedly and sighed. Phew. Good night. You must really love dogs. I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. Hell, especially more so than a people person. I'm not sure that's something you say out loud. Anyway, I don't know if we're gonna keep it. Yeah, I think it would get lonely when you and I aren't home. Right? Deserves a good home. I'll see if anyone wants to take it in. Yeah, I'll ask around at work too. Regardless, I'd gotten to see a side of Sasazuka that he didn't show often, so perhaps this had been a valuable experience. At the very least, I'd never seen Sasazuka act so affectionately before. I wish he'd be like that to me. Alright, enough about the dog. We're gonna keep living together, right? Yeah, I'd like to stay with you the same way we've done so far. There were still 3 or 4 days left before the 2 weeks were up. I wanted to spend as much time with him as I could. Plus, I had Kazuki's support. The same way we've done so far, huh? Sasazuka murmured to himself as he looked up and thought. Oh! And to mark the occasion, I'll do anything you ask, just once. Huh? It's to make up for putting you through the ringer and being stuck at work for the last 2 days. You could call it an apology. Well, it's more of a reward for being patient with me. Anything I say? Really? Yep, anything. You can ask me to kiss you, or kneel and propose to you with an engagement ring. Hell, I'll marry tomorrow if you want. Those examples are all basically the same thing. If you don't want it, then never mind. I never said that. But it was very rare for Sasazuka to be this generous, and I had to think long and hard about my decision. I'm not going to tell you to propose. If you want to propose to me, you will fucking do it on your goddamn own. I'm not going to make you do it. But I am going to make you do something that you hate. That you hate. I closed my eyes and thought. It'd be just too embarrassing to ask him to kiss me. Okay, as for the engagement ring, well, I'd rather be proposed to in a different way. You know, out of choice. Maybe it'd be best to ask him to tell me something important. I could ask him to say that he loves me, since he rarely does that. You got 5 seconds. 4. Please love me. Oh, wait. Wow, you're even more pragmatic than I thought. No, that's not what I meant to... Oh, I didn't say make love to me. You took this the wrong way, but I'm okay with it. And my cute girlfriend's requesting it. I guess I'll have to give her what she wants. Sasazuka was grinning now, and he stroked my cheek with one hand. Okay, listen! I was gone for 2 days, so it's the least I can do to make it up to you. So what should we do tonight? I'm open to any requests. Look, that's not what I... Should I turn up the lights first? I think it'd be nice to leave them on for once. You always hide your face. Oh my god, girl, I'm gonna need you to get over your fucking embarrassment. Too embarrassing to ask him to kiss me. I internally groaned, and then this. You always hide your face. Oh, I can't look at you when we're having sex. Girl, I need you to get over it. You've been dating for like a fucking year. Okay, it's only been like 6 months, but still. His husky voice growled in my ear and robbed me of my will to resist. Then he nibbled my ear, and I felt my strength leave my legs. Sasazuka. So you're finally being honest. Your face says you want me so badly you can't stand it. I couldn't deny the charge. How could I? After all, I was gazing back into his eyes with longing. I just hate how every character... It's kind of funny how she's like, I'm pretty much just average at being a cop. She's not spectacular or anything like that. Okay, so we're all pretty fucking average, you know? Some people are exceptional, but most of us are just fucking average, okay? But I just hate how in every single game, no matter how much you like the MC, there's always some kind of delicate fucking little wallflower who's like, oh my god, kissing is always awkward. You've been married for like a decade. Could you get over it by now? Like, it's not like he's like licking your ear in public where you're like, whoa, okay, it's public. Okay, I get that. I get that. And I get everybody's got kind of like certain things embarrass you. You're not gonna be like, okay, so last night he was railing me real good. Like, not everyone's going to talk like that, but you're alone. Oh my god, it's embarrassing. I have to hide my face when we have sex. It's been 6 fucking months. I think you need to get the fuck over it by now. I think you need to shove him down and take him the way you want to take him, okay? Just need you to fucking hike your tits up and be a woman about it, alright? Just tired of this dainty little girly wallflower, awkward and shy little girl thing. It's not sexy. It's not fun for any of us. Is anybody like, oh, I love it when they're awkward and strange and they feel weird about having sex with their boyfriends? No, I don't think anybody likes that. I mean, I get it. It's probably like not a Western audience thing. I feel like most of us are like, hello? Yeah, okay, I get the awkwardness in the very beginning if you're innocent, but like, after 6 months? He'd have walked in that door after a couple of days. If you were like feeling it, you'd have slammed him against a wall before he had a chance to open his mouth, okay? Not me, because I'm like borderline asexual, but like whatever, you know, but most people would. And there's a limit where even me would do shit like that. Just longer than 2 days, but you know. Anyway, but this is supposed to be a precious reward. I can't just... This was a reward too, but I wanted to wish for something I wouldn't normally have granted. A soft laugh escaped his lips as they released mine for an instant. You really are weak when I press the attack. What? I'm sure there's something else you want. We've done this plenty of times and there'll be other opportunities. His hand gently ruffled my hair and he gave me one last soft kiss. He's just too darn good at spoiling me. I gazed back into his eyes. Our noses almost touching. Then I made up my mind. I want us to go on a date. A date? That's all? Yes, I want to spend an entire day out on the town with you. That would make me happy. It felt as if he closed his eyes and seemed to think about it for a moment. Got it. Let's go on a trip. A trip? Really? I suddenly felt giddy as he gave me an answer I hadn't expected. A date would have been wonderful, but I never thought we'd get to go away together. It might mess up the timing of this temporary move-in, but if we just walk around town like always, that wouldn't be much of a reward. I'd be traveling and staying overnight in parts unknown with the love of my life. The thought alone made me giddy and warm with anticipation. It was more than enough to make up for the loneliness I felt about my stay ending in a few days. Oh, quit it with a stupid grin. You're already making plans to visit all the shops. No, I'm just so happy to be going on a vacation with you that I can't contain myself. I'm getting all worked up, stupid. It was impossible not to. I was that overjoyed. Wherever we go, I think we should spend at least 2 nights there. Make sure you get time off from work. I'll clear my schedule, too. That means we definitely have to find a new home for this puppy. Yeah. You have a passport? Yeah, I got one back when I was in college. And then we're good. We're going to America. Okay. Wait. America? She's like, why? That's a far flight for a 2-day trip. That's a lot. That's got to be a lot of money for a 2-day trip. Chapter 4. May 27th, 11:32 a.m. The United States of America. It was the superpower that stood at the center of world affairs, surpassing all other nations in economic, scientific, and military power. It took the better part of the day for a flight from Narita to touch down at John F. Kennedy International Airport. By the time I set foot on American soil, it was already midday local time. It's a 13 fucking hour difference. Wait a minute. Oh my god, look, it's Delhi! Oh my god! Okay, first of all, I noticed the one on the left. Okay, so the far left billboard. Okay, not the one with the watch, but that one. I was like, isn't that the chick from Amnesia Memories? Oh my god, and above it's Clock Zero, which we can't play because that's not in English. I don't know who it is next to the O&M one. I don't know what that one is. But on the far right is fucking Code Realize. It actually says Code Realize, I think, too. It's just so faded, like, Cece's underneath. And, like, is that supposed to be Lupin? You can't tell if the shadows over him, but Delhi's over there. Oh my god, that's so fucking cool! And then the Amnesia Memories girl's in the background, too. Like, oh my god, that's fucking amazing! Is Beast and Princess a Otome game, too, that's maybe not localized, and I don't know what that one is? That's fucking cute. That's a nice touch. That's a nice touch. Code Realize and Amnesia Memories are already translated, but like, could we get the other ones translated? Is that a hint? Can we pretend it's a hint? Can we be like, oh my god, let's speculate? I just want to pretend. Anyway, wow, there's so many people. As soon as I left the subway station, my vision was filled with countless signs and billboards. I was greeted with a vast landscape of towering skyscrapers and throngs of people making their way among them. It'd be so fucking amazing if all the billboards actually, like, had Atome games on them. You'd be like, yeah! It's a woman's world! It should be obvious. But this is New York's biggest entertainment district, Times Square. It's probably the first thing you think of when someone mentions New York. That's pretty much the only thing people think of when I mention New York, because it's just be rough. Yeah, it's really famous. I've seen it on TV and in magazines. Seeing it in person, you really get a feel for the sheer scale of it. I feel like it could squish me flat. Wait till you see Texas. The crowds around me were larger and more diverse than what I was used to in Japan. It had been several weeks since we decided to visit the States. I'd taken time off from work and we had booked our flight and hotel. This is kind of interesting. It hadn't felt quite real, but while I was on the airplane, it hadn't felt quite real while I was on the airplane and in the airport, but I'm really in America now. I finally realized that I was standing in the world's most famous street intersection. It's not really not all that different. Wow. It's not really all that different from the Shinjuku Scramble. The only real change is that everyone crossing speaks English instead of Japanese. That's a pretty big difference to me, you know. Though it was obvious, I noticed that everyone around me was speaking in English. I mean, yeah. But it's kind of like going to Japan and expecting everyone to speak English. You're like, what? What? They don't? Yeah, no. What? I'm sorry, we also don't speak English. We speak American. It's different. There's lots of howdies and y'alls in the South, anyway. And other words, and we just throw out some letters, because there's no fucking U in letter, and why is it a Czech-ly, okay? There's no Q-U in Czech. Q-U-E, I don't know. Look. Speak a weird-ass version, okay? We bastardized English. Just saying. English is stupid language. You know what I realized the other day? Stupidly. Okay, I can't get this out of my head. When you say, like, don't, won't, it's do not, will not, you know, that's the way contractions work. You know, there's, it's, there is, or you're saying possession of, they own it. But I'm saying, like, there's a dog. There is a dog. You know, it's a dog. It is a dog. Let's is not let is, it's let us. Who the fuck let that one in? It's weird. Just makes no sense. The contractions usually follow this, and you're like, okay, it's pretty stiff. And then you get to that, and it was like, wait, I don't know why it occurred to me the other day. It was like, let's apostrophe s, let apostrophe s. It's not let is, where everything else with an apostrophe s is a something is. This is let us, like, let us go shopping. Let's go shopping. It's like you know that at the root, but you've never actually stopped and thought and been like, well, that's fucking weird. Oh. It's just bizarre sometimes. English is fucking weird sometimes when you stop and think about it. That's why we don't think about it often, because it's... Anyway. There. Through thorough thought, though. Jesus Christ. You can say it, but when you try to read that, you're like, wait, I gotta stop for a minute. Take a minute to read this. It wasn't uncommon for me to interact with foreigners around Kabukicho as part of my work. But hearing native speakers speak rapidly in their own country made me lose confidence in my own English skills. I better make sure I don't get separated from Sasazuka. It's true, he's lived here from, like, 10 to 22, is that what it said? Yeah. The thought of getting lost made me reflexively clutch Sasazuka's arm tightly. Oh, what's this now? You finally over your rebellious phase. Huh? Never mind. What do you want to eat? Oh, yeah. I'm curious what restaurants and cafes are like in America. But first, I think we should go somewhere that you like. Sure, but I hope you're ready. American food can be heavy. That's an understatement. New foods were always something to look forward to on a trip. Plus, Sasazuka used to live in America, so I was sure he'd have some good recommendations. It turned out that I was a fool to expect that. Nearly an hour later, I was uncomfortably clutching my disgorged belly as we made our way back onto the street. I'd followed Sasazuka to a cafe with the intention of enjoying a light meal. However, the pastrami sandwich that we'd ordered had been intimidating. Barbaric amount of sliced beef. Yeah. Welcome to America, where portion sizes are about 6 times the size of a normal food. Told you it was heavy. Did, but I didn't think you meant physically heavy. Well, that's beyond anything I'd imagined. And that was the half size. That was a half a sandwich. It's a popular place with students. And the flavor here is only okay, but you get a lot of food for your money. I used to go there often. The old man running the store seemed really happy to see you. He even hugged you and started telling everyone that Takeru brought his wife home. Come to think of it, the normal portion size might be more than normal to celebrate Sasazuka's return. If you thought that was bad, wait until you see the places that'll send even me into a food coma. How the fuck did he end up tiny and skinny after living in America for like 12 years? He should have like rolled off the fucking plane with him. That's why he's mad. He's like, you know how long it took me to lose the weight I gained? People really aren't kidding when they say that everything's bigger in America. Again, wait till you go to Texas. It made me more certain that I probably wouldn't be able to live in this country. We get used to it. Let's walk off all that pastrami. I don't think there's much interesting stuff to see around here, but we are on a date. Like, could you imagine? I'm gonna go on a date. Sure, let's fly halfway across the world. Literally to the other side of the fucking world. For 2 days. They must make a lot of money as cops, is all I'm saying. Because that seems to be an expensive ticket. We've been holding hands. Sasazuka pulled me closer and put his arm around my waist. When he kissed my cheek in full view of all the nearby pedestrians, I shook my head flustered. It's nothing new. They've seen worse. People having sex on the bench over there. We're in public. We're not in Japan anymore. It's normal here. Nobody cares. Wait, again? He continued to smooch me on the cheeks, which made me even more self-conscious. Really, you don't need to worry. Nobody you know is here. Okazaki's here, isn't he? Oh, God. Or should I... This is where he went on sabbatical. Right now, you aren't a cop. You're just Spacey Hoshino, a woman. So if I want to dote on you, let me spoil you. Otherwise, what's the point of flying to another country? Are you really going to spoil me? You bet. Come here. Sasazuka laughed and we continued walking arm in arm. I wondered what he had planned for me on this 2-night stay overseas. Central Park, Art Museum, the Statue of Liberty. Look! She's all happy and he's just slowly falling apart. Oh, Sasazuka, look! On the other side of the river! It's the Statue of Liberty! I know I see it. Just a regular old tourist trap, though. Hardly interesting. But it's my first time in New York. It'd be a waste if we didn't go see it. While Sasazuka grumbled, he did give in to my excitement and guided me to the famous landmark. Libertas? I've never heard anyone call her that. Lady Liberty. Towering proudly over Liberty Island was an American icon that any tourist dreamed of seeing. There's probably a lot of Americans that dream of seeing her because, you don't really do it. It was always exciting when we would drive to New York where you could see her in the distance and you're like, oh, it's still one of those things that's exciting. Look, I've never seen fucking Mount Rushmore. I don't think it exists because that's like in North Dakota and I don't believe in North Dakota. I'm kidding, I believe in North Dakota. I know it's a state. I just never been there, so I just can say that it doesn't exist because I've never been there, so therefore it doesn't exist. I don't know. Look, people can say the world is flat. I can say North Dakota is a government conspiracy, okay? Fucking kidding. Anyway, you should feel honored. I don't act as a tour guide for just anyone. Then please act more guide-like. Tell me about its history. Well, it's gotten destroyed in countless blockbuster movies. So is the White House. That's how you know it's supposed to be. You're like, oh, we're supposed to be traumatized. Anyway. After that, we stopped in front of one of the world's 4 greatest museums, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I don't know why I couldn't read that sentence. What are the exhibits like? I was never interested in art, so I've actually never been inside. We kept walking until we ended up in a vast expanse of greenery where many other people were also enjoying the sights. Central Park. The park is huge, even as a zoo. Okay, next. Can you describe the place as a little bit more than that? It's a park. Nothing else to say. You got a good look at the place, didn't you? You can at least describe it better. For example, nestled between the forest of skyscrapers of the urban oasis. You should work in advertising. there, Sasazuka! If we lie down on the grass, we can see the whole wide blue sky! Ah, this soothes me. You're acting like an office lady who gets tired of work and goes on an overseas trip by herself. Hey, shut up! Oh my god, you just fucking... Why do you shame me? I'm just too scared to go on a trip by myself. But, you know, just because I dream of being that office worker who gets stressed out at work and goes on an overseas trip, that's not in my life. I just stay at work instead. Oh, I'm even sadder than that. Sasazuka called me out. I mean, that's kind of accurate. Man, I love this. I love this in Loop, but look at that! This is the best. Did not see this one coming. Anyway, it wasn't possible to see America's busiest city in one day. Before long, the sun began to set. It was already sleepy due to the time difference. We went back to Times Square and rested our tired feet in an open-air cafe. That was fun, but I'm beat. Exploring a new country had been more tiring than I expected, doubly so since I didn't really speak the local language. That said, why had Sasazuka suddenly decided to take a vacation in America? We could have gone to any other country. We could have gone to any other prefecture in our country, you know what I'm saying? While I waited for him to fetch our drink orders inside the cafe, I looked over the English language menu. Yeah, but if we hadn't come here, we wouldn't be able to see all the fun Otome games. And, like, I'm just saying, I just think it's rude that you put ones in that aren't translated, and then this one's going to get translated, and then there's ones in the background that aren't in English, so I feel like you have to translate them now. We can kind of hope that, I mean, I know that, you know, Access didn't put those in there. Like, those were in there when they made the game, but still. Anyway, the United States of America. This was where Sasazuka had once grown up together with his mother. Maybe that's why he wanted to come back. He wanted to bring you someplace that meant something to him. It was also where he suffered a terrible traumatic wound that would never heal. Nobody would have blamed him for never coming back again. I mean, that's a valid point. Hi! How's it going? Are you Japanese? Chinese? Where are you from? Suddenly a young man approached, waving his hand in a friendly manner. He seemed like a local. As he fired off a rapid succession of questions in English, I grew cautious. Sasazuka said to be careful, even though he'd be back in a few minutes. Maybe I should answer in whatever English I know. Sorry, I don't speak much English. I'm waiting for someone. Can we talk about it later? Are you waiting for a friend or your family? Maybe your sister. She should look just as cute as you are. Or do you have a brother? Maybe I didn't understand because my English wasn't good enough. A brother? Or sister? Although I should have avoided speaking to the stranger, I replied with, Brother? Brother? Hey, nani ga desu? Without thinking, I slipped back into Japanese in a quizzical tone. That's kind of funny because they left the Japanese in there. Oh, your brother? All right, let's go together then. Perhaps he had misunderstood me because the man then placed his hand on my shoulder in an overly familiar way. Okay, this is creepy. Let's just be real. I just want to, in defense of all Americans, we might try to talk to strange people because we are way too fucking friendly. Even when you hate people, you bump, oh, I'm sorry, oh, that's not back yet. And you just talk to strangers and you're like, I hate people, but you still talk to strangers. Okay, we still all talk to strangers. You'll be in an elevator. I know it's weird. Oh my God, yeah, like yourself. Oh my God, yeah. And you just talk to strangers and we do it. Even if we don't want to. We fucking do it. Not all the time, but we do it, okay? Especially if you're touristy. If you're being in tourist mode, you are like, everybody is your best friend. Like or drunk at a bar. Everyone's your best friend. But you don't just go up to people and like, hi, who are you? Are you Chinese, Japanese, Korean? What are you? First of all, holy shit. Like, okay. You're like, let me just take you by the hand and lead you off somewhere. No, he's trying to kidnap us, okay? That is not how normal people act. Now, hold on a second. Hey. What's going on here? Sasazuka. Who's this guy? I thought I told you to be careful. He just came up and started talking to me. Ah, so you're a brother, right? The hell? Come on, we got some good stuff that's totally legal. I didn't get most of what the man said to Sasazuka. However, Sasazuka was growing visibly irate, and the other person seemed to notice. Your sister's really cute. You guys want to stay in my place during your visit? See, he's skeevy. Only skeevy people try to lure you away. The least he could have done was offer candy. Yeah, I'll agree with you that she's cute. But get lost, asshole. I'm not her brother, I'm her boyfriend. A few minutes later, after berating the man and chasing him off in a mix of Japanese and English, Sasazuka plopped down across from me in a chair and pushed a cup of hot chocolate at me. I think you almost made him cry. I wish. Should have kept going. The English language is quite powerful when it comes to insults and profanity. The fuck it is! I mean, wait, yes it fucking is. All you have to do is just throw fuck in every other sentence, and it's pretty amazing. It's a very nice sentence enhancer. Okay? I like it. It's my personal favorite. Anyway, sorry about that. I meant to come back right after I ordered drinks, but I bumped into an old acquaintance. How the fuck are you on the other side of the planet? And I know you obviously used to how do people do this? How does it happen? I could literally be at work and not bump into anybody I fucking know, and I work with the people there, okay? It's a little bit of an exaggeration. But other people, it's like, I'm halfway across the world. I know he lived here for a time. And, okay, going to the little deli place, fine. You used to go there all the time and you knew the owner, and the owner's probably still there. It's only been a couple of years. Okay. But you're just happen to be in a cafe in New York motherfucking City. It always happens on TV shows, too. We're in the middle of New York City and I see someone I know. Is it the coffee shop you all regularly go to that you see them at? No, it's just a random fucking place that I've never been before and they've never been and we happen to meet it there. How? It's a huge fucking city. What? What the fuck? They bullshit me. But there are people like this. My friend was like that. Everywhere we go, she'd meet someone she knew. How the... 2 states away? How the fuck do you meet people? Again, I could go to work and not meet anyone I goddamn fucking know. Okay? And I go there, well, not now, but I used to go there every day. See the same fucking people, but I still never see anyone I know. And yet everybody else is like halfway across the world, ran into someone I knew in college. Anyway. Oh yeah, you mentioned that you used to come here often. Okay, so this is a cafe that you used to frequent. That makes a little more sense, but it's still weird. Yeah, this area's always been pretty safe, so I thought we'd be okay. Can't believe this happens even when we're abroad. Do we need to put a collar and a leash on you? That's very funny. Lupin will save us. He's right there on the billboard. I glared at Sasazuka out of the corner of my eye as I sipped my hot chocolate and took in the sights. The buildings seemed to stretch high enough to touch the clouds. The people were as numerous as blades of grass. The city was like Tokyo in some ways, yet very different in others. I turned back to Sasazuka. By the way, while you were inside, I started wondering why you decided we should visit America. Would you have preferred to stay in Japan? That's not what I meant, just... There was the incident with your mother, and you don't seem to have a very positive opinion of America. It's like, our donuts are better. Probably. Maybe not. I've had Japanese food. He was silent for a while. The silence stretched on so long that I began to regret asking. But if you want food and you like sugar, sugar's in fucking everything here, so I'm just saying. Like bread. Sugar's in it! What? Sorry, I shouldn't cry. That's fine. It makes sense you'd wonder about that. Sasazuka gulped down the rest of his hot chocolate and suddenly stood up. Come with me, Spacey. Somewhere I want to take you. Oh god, I was just gonna say. When he's like, I want to take you. Oh god, is your mother buried here? Oh. We got on a train from Times Square heading northeast along the Hudson River for almost an hour. Eventually, we arrived at a plot of land covered in greenery. Oh. This is a cemetery, isn't it? Right. The area was sparsely dotted with gravestones that cast long shadows in the twilight. However, it wasn't dark yet, and the graveyard had an oddly calming atmosphere. It's different from a Japanese cemetery. American graveyards are kind of like parks in a way. Some people even like to have picnics near the graves of famous people. I guess it's another one of the differences between our two cultures. The type of thing sounded pretty strange to me. Sounds pretty strange to some of us, too. I followed Sasazuka as he walked between the gravestones without saying a word. Eventually, he stopped in front of a particular grave. I shouldn't say anything about people having picnics in front of, like, famous people's graves. I mean, we take my dad on family vacations. Take his ashes with us, so I mean, I'm just saying. People do different things. I haven't been back here in a while. Obviously, I can't visit often, living overseas and all. Sasazuka's eyes narrowed slightly as he brushed the dust off a gravestone while talking to it. Look at his little face. Oh. This is so sad. I wasn't so insensitive that I couldn't guess who it belonged to. Your mother rests here? Yeah. With the word, he nodded and knelt down. In his hand, oh, it's a pretty bouquet of flowers he'd bought along the way. Sasazuka stared at the gravestone. The bouquet contained a gentle assortment of poppies. He gently set them down in front of the gravestone, as well as some Japanese candies shaped like cherry blossoms. Did your mother like cherry blossoms? Who doesn't? They're beautiful. Yeah, she didn't mind living here, but she was always saying how much she missed seeing them bloom in Japan. And they have some cherry trees here, but it obviously isn't easy to bring over blossoms from Japan. Mom always liked Japanese candies, so she'd like these. Your mother sounds like a wonderful person. I don't know. She was childish for her age, and she played around a lot even though she was a grown woman. There's nothing wrong with that. Plus, she was an airhead. Really stubborn about the dumbest things. Kind of sounds like you. So, yeah, I think you two would have gotten along. I think so, too. I'm happy to hear that. It's not a compliment. Yes, it is. I think it's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Oh, he's so sweet. Look at him, he's so precious. Oh, that's so sad. I smiled at Sasazuka. Then I turned to the gravestone and closed my eyes. I'm sorry it took so long to visit, ma'am. I'm Spacey, Takeru's girlfriend. Takeru's doing just fine. He's happy and healthy. Every day he helps a lot of people at work. He's helped me a lot, too. Though sometimes, actually a lot of the time, he's a bit of a bully. I was full of gratitude to the mother of the man I loved. I stood in front of her grave and talked about the days we spent together. I like her hair like this because you don't notice the jellyfishness. You know what I mean? Because it's like her hair's pulled to the side in a little ponytail. It just was always weird in the last game because you notice like it's short all the way around on the top and then long underneath. I never understood why they gave him jellyfish hair. It's cute here. When Takeru asked me to be his girlfriend, I think he could have been nicer about it. Then people wouldn't have gotten the wrong idea about us. He's actually very picky and can barely take care of himself. I especially wish he'd put on some clothes after taking a bath. He must have been like that as a boy, too. Now hold on. You came all this way to meet your mother-in-law. Can't you say something nicer? Sasazuka seemed annoyed, but I smiled at him and chuckled at the gravestone. She's not my mother-in-law yet. Are you going to propose to me? Oh, but I also think that Takeru is more manly and attractive than anyone else I know. At his core, he's kind, honest, and thinks the world of me. He's a strong person who finishes whatever he starts. I feel truly lucky to have met Takeru and to have him by my side today. So, I hope that I can repay both of you by making him just as happy as I feel. I'm going to do my best, so please watch over us both. I'm surprised you can say all that to her when I'm standing right here. I can say it because you're here with me. You're going to make a guy blush. Oh, she's so cute. I want a fucking muffin. Sasazuka looked away bashfully. Then he began to murmur softly. To be honest, not for you, I never would have thought about coming back to America. This is my second home, but it holds a lot of painful memories, too. Aww, yeah. His distant gaze stared off over the rest of the graveyard. In the distance, there were also other people who appeared to be paying respects to their relatives. The old guy visiting that grave, the old woman next to him, and the kid. Their lives have all been touched by guns because they live here in America. People fight back against the evil that guns represent with their own guns. That's how some of this country views justice. It's normal to people in a country that values liberty just as much as justice. Guns are a rare sight in most societies, but it was true that in this country, firearms were familiar things to many people. It was a nation that operated on a totally different set of rules than Japan, where most weapons were outlawed. I realized that for the first time since arriving here. It took a different kind of conviction to fire a weapon in this country than it did in Japan. I mean, it is kind of weird if you think about it. Like, you could probably not be running around in a subway with a fucking sword. They'd be like, whoa, 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 dude, we got rules. What the fuck, crazy pants? But it's okay to fucking have your gun. I mean, I'm just saying. Just like, okay. It's a little scary. In Japan, guns were available in Shinjuku for a matter of months. But look at the chaos they caused during that time. The people act like it's completely ordinary here. Yeah, I didn't come here to start a rant about the pros and cons of an armed society. People here know them better than most. They've been debating the issue forever. They'll never stop. If someone really wants to kill, honestly, they'll do it whether they're using a gun, a knife, or their fists. Guns just lower the barrier of entry. They're not universally good or evil. They're a reality that this country has to deal with. I understand. But after witnessing Shinjuku with my own eyes, I don't think I'll ever get used to it. My hand drifted to the empty space where I normally wore my holster while in uniform. Strangely, it felt heavy. I think that I'm better suited to life in Japan. It's a society where people can get along, even without guns. I'm proud to be an officer of the law which protects that society. Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't mean to deny the culture or society of this country. Japan should stay the way it is. I nodded at Sasazuka and gently reached out and touched the gravestone. The engravings had begun to show signs of wear after being exposed to the elements for 6 years. Sasazuka, do you still hate the person who killed your mother? I'd be lying if I said no. You know me well enough to understand why that hate will never disappear. Why I wavered when Adonis tried to recruit me. Do you still feel that way, even though the X-Day cases are over? Well, yeah, I'm no saint. You know that. I'll never forget the sadness and anger I feel over my family's death. That never goes away whether your parents were shot or not. I'd assumed that to be the case. However, it still hurt to hear. When he was laughing in front of me, when we were holding each other close, when we were making love to each other, a part of Sasazuka still burned for revenge against his mother's killer, and probably always would. But what if he were tempted in the same way again? What would he do? Fan disc part 2! We're happy with Sasazuka, and then we all go evil. Woo! We could do this forever. Hey, stop making that face, idiot. Sasazuka lifted my downcast chin with a finger. When I looked up at him, his expression seemed sulky. You're the one who was always going on about how much you love and trust me. So have a little faith. I do. Just worried. You said that you'll always want revenge. Of course I will. So what? That's not something a normal person gets themselves all worried about. Sasazuka's eyes were so close that I thought for a second he might kiss me. But he stopped and rested his forehead against mine. You either killed my mother. Oh, Thomas Kendagata isn't around anymore. Huh? You mean... Don't worry, Spacey. The scenario you're panicking over won't happen. I'll run his background just in case. But neither I nor Adonis had anything to do with his death. So what happened? Well, he was always in the criminal underworld. Maybe he pissed off the wrong person, or maybe got taken out in some turf war. Didn't even make the news. Wasn't any spectacular arrest. He just died in an anonymous death somewhere. In the end, I neither caught him nor got my revenge. I mean, it's kind of poetic justice if he got shot. Not gonna lie. I'm like, well, I mean, it's a shitty ending, but that's life. God, if that isn't true. Just because the object of your vengeance dies doesn't mean that the desire for revenge disappears. It's a shitty ending, but that's life. That is the statement. Sasazuka's voice trembled slightly as he gazed at his mother's grave. That could mean you'll always want revenge, couldn't it? Yeah, maybe I'm stuck with the curse for life, since there's nowhere else to go. The anger of having someone important stolen from me will never fade. Not after Nagata, not after X-Day. And there's one thing that's changed after everything I've been through. You know what that is? What's changed? You came into my life, Spacey Hoshino. I may still want revenge, but you'll be here to stop me. Oh. Even if something similar happens again, as long as I have you. Unless I'm the one that got shot. I know that I can stay myself with you by my side. His voice was gentle as his hand stroked my hair. There wasn't a hint of doubt or hesitation. I sensed the resolve in his words. On the other hand, on the off chance that someone takes you from me and you disappear, I know that I'll thirst for revenge and I'll use any means I have to get it, Adonis or otherwise. I'll kill anyone who took you from me. So, his arms wrapped around my waist and firmly brought me close. I want you to live for my sake. Don't leave my side. Don't go anywhere. Please just don't disappear. The longing in his voice was strong from the desperation of wanting to treasure a loved one, from the weight of his love. Now, you're practically threatening me. If I die, then you'll kill someone else. That just means I have to stay alive no matter what. It's such a cruel threat. But I answered his feelings with my lips. Did we get a kissy CG or what now? They belonged to someone who I couldn't help but fuss over, who I loved more than anyone. I promise you that I won't let anyone kill me. I'll always stay by your side, and if you stray from the path, I'll be there to guide you back onto it. Even if you try to push me away like you did before, I won't give up on you. I'll live a long life with you so that you'll never think about revenge again. And I want you to live too. For me. Also precious for me. Yeah, I promise. You're a damn fine woman, you know that? I know. Sasasuka smiled happily and whispered into my ear, You'll live for me, and I'll live for you. It was a gentle vow. We should have picked a better venue for this. No, I think it was the right place. Your mom got to hear us say it all. Huh. She'd probably yell at me for being a show-off. So now that I've introduced myself to your mother, I'll have to meet your father one day, too. Yeah, I guess so. What's that supposed to mean? He's like, I don't know where he is. Do we know anything about his dad? Oh, hold on, I need to take this. Sasasuka paused and took out his phone. Hey, it's me, Takeru. Sasasuka? I watched him curiously, but couldn't hear what the other person was saying. Sasasuka held up a finger, gesturing for me to wait. Then he smiled. I'm stateside right now. Yeah, Mom's grave. What? Don't be annoying, you know why. I'll ask you next time. Yeah, I know. He even talks like that to his father. Is it... Wait. That's what I was assuming when he said Mom's grave. I was like, okay, so he's actually talking to his father. But it's so funny that I get to meet your father someday, and then his dad calls. That's fucking convenient timing. As I watched him with mild amazement, the wind softly whistled through the trees. Bye. Then he suddenly hung up. Huh? It's done. Should you really have hung up on him? Wasn't that your father? Yep. He's in Texas, apparently. Sounds like he's been trying to call you back this entire time. Ugh, so annoying. Ignoring his calls. Are you sure? Just drop it. Knowing Dad will probably trace my cell signal and track us down. Oh my god, we need another fan disc. I want to meet his dad. Holy shit. I need to see this. What kind of parent was capable of that? Considering who Sasasuka was, however, I found myself believing that his father might actually do it. We should get back to the hotel. We should get plenty of rest before my sightseeing tomorrow. Right, okay. Where are we going tomorrow? Let me think. I wanted to visit some of my old stomping grounds. I thought I was going to say Texas. I can show you a lot of places tomorrow. Where I used to live, where I hung out, where I like to go on days off. Make sure you keep up. Of course I will. How adorable. Now it's 2 days later when we come back. Okay. Good evening, Yanagi, Enomoto. Yay, look at her. Hey, Hoshino, you're back already? Yes, I just got back to Shinjuku today. Sorry to bother you at such a late hour. You must be tired from your trip. I'll make some tea, so have a seat. Don't mind if I do, thanks. Now that my American vacation was over, 2 nights in New York had felt far too short. I mean, who goes like on the other side of the planet for 2 days? After returning to Japan, I visited a place that I owed a great deal to during the X-Day cases. It was Unagi's detective office. Oh, no way!
What's Takeru up to? I was sure he'd be with you.
Well, about that.
Oh, I know. He's too shy to see me because it's been so long, right? Takeru's a more bashful guy than he looks. Wait, don't tell me he's hiding somewhere nearby so he can ambush me.
Is Imagawa?
Is Imagawa Enomoto gonna be ambushed by a modern-day battle of...
Okay, Hazama? Okay, Hazama? No. I don't know the reference you're making, but no.
He doesn't have the guts anyway.
I don't think anyone else would do that either. I smiled, glad to see Enomoto in his usual spirits. Sasazuka's back in town too, but he's at HQ now. Sounds like something urgent came up.
Yeah, he's dealing with all those shootings, right?
Oh, did you know about those?
I've heard a few things in passing.
He's like, hello, I have fucking ears.
No, in Sasazuka, you wouldn't let a case like that slip by.
Unagi's nose for information was as perceptive as ever.
So how was your vacation?
It was a nice change of pace. I heard a lot about America, but seeing it in person is a different story. I took the offered snacks and tea and told the pair stories about my trip. At one point, Unagi opened his mouth as if he just remembered something.
But come to think of it, I heard rumors that Shiraishi was abroad. You never know what's true when it comes to that guy, though.
I really thought we were going to run into him. He's not shown up in this at all, which is weird. Everyone else has, like now. Mukai must be having a conniption. I idly looked around the room. It was nostalgic. Unagi would sit on the sofa while Sasazuka would be glaring at a computer screen behind him. Okazaki would sneak up behind Enomoto, scaring him, and Shiraishi would make fun of all of them. This place had been so alive only half a year ago. It's so quiet now. It makes me a little sad.
Well, yeah. Seaweed Head suddenly went back to HQ and Shiraishi just up and disappeared.
I'm glad the job you gave us helped liven things up around here. Come on out, boy. We arrived at the main reason I was visiting, the dog. Unagi opened the door to a side room and a brown Shiba dog came tumbling out. Spot! I'm glad he looks healthy. Sorry for leaving you all by yourself, boy. When we decided to go on vacation, I'd have trouble finding anyone at work to take care of the puppy. However, Unagi and Enomoto had agreed to be our dog sitters. Spot appeared to have grown slightly bigger. 2 days? As I petted him on my lap, I bowed to my friends. Thank you both so much for doing this on short notice.
It's no problem at all. The puppy's well behaved and he's a clever to boot. I also house trained him for you. I work really hard too. I've already Spot to be a ninja dog that won't dishonor you no matter where you take him.
Ninja dog? I stared at Enomoto doubtfully. Unagi...
Hey, don't be like that. I kept an eye on him and he hasn't been doing anything weird. Relax.
Anyway, I trained him to eat dog food and go potty. He knows sit and shake hands too. What the fuck have you been doing? 2 days, Unagi! Jesus. Wow. All in 3 days. Okay, we gave the dog. Okay, maybe okay.
Also, he'll dig a hole if you say earth technique and jump from side to side if you say clone technique.
I had a feeling that Unagi wasn't to blame for the last 2 commands. Those were most likely the work of...
How do you like that?
Anyway, I'm doubly grateful. You've done us a huge favor.
Don't mention it. So what else did you do in New York? I hope Husband Seaweed wasn't too pushy. Actually, that's a weird nickname. Almost sounds like a compliment.
Husband Seaweed. Enomoto's insults didn't make any sense.
Relax, Enomoto. I would never take that as a compliment. Actually, we've been worried about you too. Despite everything, Sasazuka isn't a bad guy, and I was sure you two would be fine, but sometimes he doesn't have a verbal filter, bound to cause misunderstandings.
Thanks for your concern, but I'm used to it by now.
Oh, but I'm used to it now.
I'll admit that things were rough going at first, but we've made up.
Sounds like my fears were unfounded then.
Come to think of it, Unagi had been worried about me when I decided to work together with Sasazuka on the X-Day cases as well. If you told me last year that we'd not only get along but become a loving couple, I probably would have considered it a bad joke. Well, I should get going. Next time I'll bring you the souvenirs we brought and we'll both visit you together.
Sure thing. No and him will probably just bought a bunch of food, but I'll be looking forward to it. I never thought I'd miss that ugly mug of his. Tie him up if that's what it takes to get him here. Let us know if Sasazuka needs any help with work. I'll give him a friend discount.
I repaid their friendly farewells with a smile.
With Spot in my arms, I made my way home. Honestly, this is the best place for Spot. They've done so much with him in 3 days. They're better dog sitters. At least they didn't forget the puppy. Like, you know, they didn't be like, oh, did you give a dog to someone? Anyway, it's June 5th. After checking in with my team, I sat down in front of a workstation. The office was drab enough on a normal day, but it seemed even more Spartan without its usual occupants. Rows of generic-looking PCs lined the tables, looking kind of like tombstones in a graveyard. It's about time. I booted up a number of programs and checked the time. June 5th, 8 p.m. It's been about a week since I returned to Japan. There had been plenty of time for my preparations to be in place. Speakers 1 through 4, okay. IP match, GPS synced, mic check normal. Surveillance cams 1 through 22, online. Video and audio feeds live. There's a good girl. The main display showed an array of surveillance camera feeds. I expanded one of the views, which appeared to show a rundown warehouse. It's filled with an assortment of items such as building materials, consumer electronics, computers, mannequins, even automobiles. In the middle of the industrial waste of 2 men having a discussion. It's showtime.
Is that the entire shipment? Check it out to be sure. 3 compact G26 semi-automatic pistols, 5 M92 semi-automatic pistols. Slides rack probably in the frame seem in good condition overall. Hammers and triggers work fine. Alright, looks like everything's in order. I'm not here to cheat you. You think I am? Anyway, you need to pick your clients better. Those...
Taka no Dobasha? Taka no Baba.
Taka no Baba.
That's a hard word to say. I'm sorry, I can't.
Shootings were done with our weapons, wasn't it? We do high profile. Even the dumb cops are gonna catch on at this rate. We don't need that kind of heat. Why are you backing out now? We said to anyone who could pay. What they do with the goods is none of our business. Anyway, I want to double the cargo next time. Also, I'm gonna need you to snag me a 50 cal too. Hey, that stuff doesn't come cheap. And if you don't want Soviet crap, it's gonna be tough to get. I'll have to reach out to some contacts, and it'll be extra for the... What the? Blackout? No, wait. Can't be right. TV's still on. Oh, you're right. Speaker over there in the lamp. What's up, shitheads?
I wonder what you're up to, scheming in the dark. Is arms smuggling the only job you bilge rats can find?
What the? Who's there?
Get out of the way.
Whoa, hang on. I don't know what the...
Isn't it obvious, dumbass?
Someone caught on to the deal.
Oh, I was like, it's funny because I thought Smuggler A was the guy on the left and Smuggler B was the guy on the right, but it's reversed because I forgot it doesn't, the way it moves the text. Anyway.
Damn it, I need to get out of here.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm not finished talking to you.
There's that voice again!
Who the hell are you? Show yourself!
I don't know the voices I get, they're falling apart, doesn't matter.
You rats aren't even house trained. Took me a lot of time to set this all up. Who am I talking to? You're not a cop, are you?
Huh? What makes you think that? I mean, I'm assuming it's Sasazuka, right? Anyway.
Police wouldn't sit around trying to intimidate a suspect. They gotta follow protocol. You're talking shit, but I bet you're running in the shadows just like us. What's your angle? Money? Trying to move in on our turf? Or maybe you want to strike a deal?
My angle? Well, that's obvious. The goals never changed from the start. In the end,
What the hell are you doing? It's no time to be shooting the shit!
Right, of course!
Damn it, the cops are here! Let's go!
Hey, did you find him? We found the warehouse and the intel, but it's empty. There's bullet holes there. It can't be far. I thought the source was shady, but it looks like it was legit. I want full perimeter. Don't let even a cat slip through. Don't let even a cat slip through.
What the hell's going on? There's cops everywhere. We're clearly surrounded. Is that guy one of the police too? I can't run anymore. Hey, I need to rest. Yeah, these woods should be dark enough to avoid them for now. Let's get our bearings. What the? Turn off your phone, idiot! You want us to get caught?
No, that's weird. I was sure I had it on silent.
Text?
You think you'd get away?
What?
Oh, wow. That was, we have been completely surrounded, blah, blah, blah. And you're finished. Once I set the smuggler's phone to ring at maximum volume, I finally took my hands off the keyboard. The video feed from the scene showed the smugglers being taken into custody. They seemed too tired to resist. Things could have gotten sticky if they decided to resist, but thankfully their will to fight had been drained. My work here was done. The officers on scene could take care of the rest. Mission complete. Oh, I'm so proud that he finished his mission. Because you knew they were going to wrap it up. Because they weren't going to give him a case and not wrap it up, but, you know. I breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, I'm going to erase my access logs. Just as I finished covering my tracks, the door opened. Minagishi? Of course it is. Hello there, Sasazuka. More overtime today? Just finishing up a small task. I just got a call from the shipyard. Apparently the arms smugglers were arrested. Glad to hear it. It'll be some time before the case wraps up, but it should be done within the month. And it's all thanks to an anonymous tip, I hear. The public knew the case as the Takadano Baba serial shootings. There's much more to the case than they realized. One of the shooters had been an unemployed man in his 40s who'd been acting alone. As the media reported, he'd been a weapons fanatic, and the lifting of the weapons ban had given him a perfect chance to act out his hostile fantasies. SRCPO had even reported that he was violently reluctant to relinquish the firearm that he'd been assigned. Once he'd gotten a taste of the real thing, turned his arms dealers onto the dark web to sate his appetite for firepower. He turned to arms dealers, He tested his new toy on anything he could find, from empty cans to animals, and finally, people. That was all true. Fortunately, he'd been arrested before there were any deaths, and the serial shootings had been solved. However, the police were more concerned with the aftermath of the incident. Someone had supplied the shooter in Japan. In the end, if we hadn't found the source, it would have been for nothing. Certainly, and we owe that to the exemplary work of our cybercrime division. I was worried when the smugglers turned out to have ties to an international terror group, though. Although there were exceptions, the jurisdiction of Japanese law enforcement generally didn't extend beyond Japanese borders. It would have taken resources that we didn't have to investigate an international criminal organization. So I was prepared for this investigation to drag on for quite a while, but I heard that someone gave HQ the hard evidence they needed to move on to the smugglers. I can't do the voices right now. I don't know. Like, my brain is just not having it anyway. Yes, and what a tip it was. Client lists, shipping manifests, distribution routes, and even funding sources. It's the sort of data you wouldn't expect without directly penetrating the systems at their American headquarters.
Well, no wonder.
Whoever that mystery helper was, he must have had a lot of free time. I'd imagine so. In fact, if he were standing in front of me right now, I wouldn't feel comfortable letting him off without at least a light scolding. As long as you work for a governmental body, the ends do not necessarily justify the means. And this was a clear misuse of your authority. You should have at least warned me. I can't protect you if I don't know what's going on. Minagishi fixed me with a sharp glare. I see. It's as you say, Commissioner. I'll let our contact know that he should be more careful in the future. Please do. It makes a commanding officer very sad when his own subordinates don't trust him. I nodded in response to Minagishi's verbal jab. I felt like he'd grasped one of my weaknesses. Sasazuka, I deeply appreciate your decision to rejoin us here. If not for you, we'd still be trying to solve this case. Sir, if you're looking for a bonus, flattery won't buy you anything. Unfortunately, this is only a half compliment. But while your skills are helpful, I'm also frightened of how effective they are. If you worked for a criminal organization, I fear that we'd have a messy conflict. I've been grandstanding just a moment ago, so his fears weren't entirely unfounded. Minagishi's intense gaze seemed to be searching me for something. This isn't the time to casually shrug this off. He was the commissioner for a reason. His presence wasn't enough to make any two big criminals spill their guts. However, I was a changed man from last year, so his question was pointless. Fortunately for you, you're wasting your breath. Despite appearances to the contrary, I rather enjoy my job here. Did I hear myself correctly? You're fond of work? Yep. A long time ago, I might have been tempted to sign up with a criminal group. But now I think this career suits me just fine. It wasn't a lie. If all I wanted was time and money, I could have easily worked somewhere other than the police. Much as I hated to admit it, there's plenty of other ways for me to make more money. But the reason I stayed here was because This is a society where people can get along without guns, and I'm proud to be an officer of the law that makes that possible. There might be times where I overstep myself like this time, but I'm on the right path to stay. And even if I do stray, I have someone to scold me and drag me right back. Minagishi's like, not you. I'm surprised. I'd always thought you to be a very individualistic person.
Huh. I'm being selfish right now, you know. More than I've ever been.
I could feel my lips curling into a smile as I savored Minagishi's shocked expression. With every case I help solve, I prevent one more person from turning into the guy that I used to be. That's enough reason to stay in the police. At the end of the day, I'm satisfied my own ego. Huh. I believe there's another word to describe helping others for your own satisfaction. I scratched my head contemplatively as Minagishi gave me a meaningful look. Yeah, you might be right. If I had to put it into really prosaic terms, the reason I work these cases is... Quietly, I said the words. Because it's my form of justice.
Perfect timing. This is probably going to be like, we're going to get to our end, but we're not going to get to our end until the next part. So, I'm going to wrap this up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.